So a sign that God is telling you to say no is just this. So Jesus said in, I don't know where he said it, but in the Bible he said, let your yes be yes and your no be no. I think a lot of times as Christians and the church, we can kind of place emphasis in like responding yes to God. God also wants us to say no to some things that he's given us in life, because a lot of times we can think like there's this perfect route that God has for us, but the truth is that like God gives people a lot of options, and he wants us to choose one and then go all the way with that and say yes to that and say no to other things. And there's not like a perfect route that God has given you. There's like gifts that he's given you, and it's important to be considerate of that, but at the same time it's also like God's flexible and he can make all things work together for your good as long as you're obeying him in whatever you're doing. And that's the main thing, because in Romans 8:28 it says, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart. Wait, no, that's Colossians 3:23. Okay, so Colossians 3:23 says, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as for the Lord, not for men. So whatever you do, it's really important that you just go hard with it and you work at it with all your heart. There's not a perfect job. There's not one that's like this like linear path to success that God has for you. Like, it's really important that you choose it, and when you whatever you're doing, you're viewing it as you serving God. It's more about your heart in what you're doing than about where you're at. And it is important to think about the direction, but like, don't get so like detail oriented and thinking about the perfect plan, and just like really just try to follow God in whatever you're doing, and he's gonna make the rest fall into place. And in Romans 8:28 it says, we know that in all things God works, God makes everything work together for the good of those who love him and have been called according to his purpose. In John 14:15 Jesus said, if you love me, obey my commandments. So if you are obeying God, if you are obeying Jesus and following the commandments that he laid out in the four gospels, in whatever you're doing, whatever job, whatever career path, if you're an entrepreneur, a creative person, you have like your own business, like whatever it is, if you're following Jesus in that, then he's gonna make all that work together for your good. So like, don't be so focused on the path, and just be focused on saying, how can I obey Jesus in this? And if I can obey Jesus with my gifts more clearly in this role than in this role, then like that's also an indicator. So don't get so caught up in all the details. Just start, and if you're obeying Jesus and like you can do that ethically, and and your heart is in the right place, then like that's what he cares about.